You'll remember a few months ago when President Biden tasked Vice President Harris with leading diplomatic efforts with Central American countries to stem the flow of migrants to the United States.
But in recent weeks, CNN has learned that the vice president's staff has been working to make clear that her role is focused solely on the root issues of migration, not managing the surge at the southern border. That's a stickier issue. CNN's Natasha Bertrand is in Washington. She's been covering this. And Natasha, it's interesting because that has been the impression that this is part of her portfolio as vice president, right? The broader issue at the southern border doesn't appear she or her team is genuinely interested in that.
Yeah, Jim. So when the president announced back in March that the vice president was going to be taking on this new portfolio, there was a lot of confusion about what her role would actually be, what the parameters of her role would be. Was it going to be, focusing narrowly on the border and trying to stem crossings of the border and border conditions? Or was it going to be focused more on the root causes of migration, of why people were actually being driven to the border? What we know now is that it is the latter, and that is something that the vice president and her staff have wanted to make extremely clear, because following that announcement by President Biden, there was some confusion that Republicans in particular seized upon to make Kamala Harris kind of the scapegoat for everything that was going on at the border at the time. If you'll remember, there was a record number of crossings at the border that was creating kind of a political problem for the Biden administration. There was that whole debate over whether to call it a crisis, if you'll remember. So the vice president's team, I should say, did not want her to get saddled with all of this politically fraught information, this politically fraught situation. And so they've sought to make it very clear, both internally and publicly, that she is focused on diplomacy and efforts in the Northern Triangle to really address the root causes here of migration.
Understood. We'll see how the efforts go there more broadly by the administration. Natasha Bertrand, thanks very much.